Good morning and welcome to the Mentor Maya 7 YouTube channel where we run interviews and we speak to inspirational people and we ask questions aimed at extracting the maximum information we can from them so that others, our audiences, could use this information to make better decisions economically, educationally, and also in obtaining skills that will serve them for the future. So this morning we have a wonderful guest here, and I'm so happy to talk with him because from the years of knowing him, some years, maybe 2-3 years of knowing him, I'm intrigued, and I have always had the interest to know what makes him run. I'm happy he accepted to be here this morning, and I will let him introduce himself. So, welcome to the Mentor Maya 7 channel.
Good morning, Madam Maya.
Good morning.
I am very, very happy to be here. I am Engineer Ayuk Alfred Tani. I am also blessed to be a servant of God. I am Apostle Ayuk Alfred Tani. So I am happy to be here this morning.
Okay.
It's a great pleasure.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. So, before we get into anything about your profession and how you run, could you please give us a background, where you were born, how you grew up, your family setting and things like that, so that we know what inspires you?
Okay. I was born in Pamo in the year 1987. I was born in Pamo in the Pamo Hospital. That is in Ekondotiti subdivision, the Indian division. So I grew up in Pamo. Later on, I moved to Limbe, stayed in Limbe as a child. Later on, we moved to Kumba because my father was a driver. We moved to Kumba, and my mother is a trader, a businesswoman. So later on, we migrated back to Pamo, where I completed my secondary school and high school. So Pamo is an agricultural company, plantation company. They deal with palm, they deal with rubber. So my father was working in Pamo. So he was a driver. He worked with Pamo as a driver. My mom to continue her business there in Pamo. So when I was growing up, I saw a lot of things in life. I met with different people, different career, different professions. So I was inspired by these people. When you meet them, you try to get some information from them. What they tell you, it paints a picture of you becoming a great person. You see yourself becoming a great person, even though at that age you didn't know how you were going to become a great person. So formerly, I've aspired to be a footballer because I play football. I aspire to be a general in the military.
Okay.
I wish to be a soldier. I wish also to be a president. Those were my 3 objectives in life because by nature I am a leader. So I just had this. I know that one day I'll become a military person, if not a military person, a president, a footballer. So as things goes on, it happens that I could not meet those dreams. As I was going to school. I went to school, I studied A4 in the high school. So when I graduated from the high school, I went to a professional school, intensive vocation.
What is A4, if you don't mind?
A4 is an accounting series, comprises economic, geography, and mathematics. So I studied after I had my advanced level. I came to Boya. I went to Intensive Vocational Training Center, IVTC, where I studied computerized accounting and management. So before I came to school, I've been doing chantier works during holidays. You do chantier work, you go.
So chantier work is laboring job.
Yes.
At building sites.
Yes, in construction.
Yeah.
So I was doing chantier work. So when I didn't even intend to be an engineer. So when I came to school, I graduated from Intensive Vocational Training Center. I studied computerized accounting and management and obtained a diploma. So I aspired to sponsor myself. I told my father to stop sponsoring me so that I can pick up something. I believe that with the certificate that I have, I can pick up something and sponsor myself to the extent which I want to. The things didn't work out the way I thought they were going to be. So I said to myself, instead of me going to school, let me pick up a handwork. Let me pick up a handwork. It's good to have a handwork. Even if you're going to school, at least you have something which, even if you travel, it will help you out there.
So handwork meaning skill.
Yeah. Picking up a skills.
To pick up a skill. Yeah.
Yes. And I've been doing chantier work in a construction company as a laborer, a general laborer, what we call manef. So I had to go into the field properly and how to learn. Behold, I find it more interesting because there you see different works. You see how things are being done differently. You see the formwork section. You see how formworks are being done, and then they produce a shape or a building. You see how people bend iron to take a particular shape and a particular way how the building, the structure needs to be. So I fell in love with that because I was a young man and I was so determined and so focused and so visionary. I said, okay, if being a footballer, being a general, being a president could not take me to my dream, I think this is a second chance. I can follow this path and get to my dream. So I was inspired. I had to went into the field. It took me about 5 years. I studied, though it was so challenging because nobody would want to teach you work. I would ask questions and they realized that I was so determined and they hid a lot of things from me. So with my effort and me being aspired, I used my personal endeavors to learn the work. So I had to learn, moving from one construction site to the other to acquire skills. And to cut the long story short, the future is magnificent, unbelievable. I wish I brought my cap, an engineer cap to wear to show you people. Because today, stories have changed, things have changed. The struggling boy that I was some 10 years ago, I can tell you, God has really helped me. And today, I'm proud to say I'm an engineer. I do not only do construction, I do plumbing, I do tiling. It's marvelous. I even have some pictures here. Let me quickly show you some pictures of some small work that I was doing some few days ago. I took some pictures. If you look, this is the processing of the formwork. You can see that's how the formwork was being going. And then you come now, I concreted it, then you see the outcome. I mean, it's marvelous. it's marvelous. I keep seeing how things are going, and then I realize that in construction, it has to do with transformation. Most of the time you come, you see a place is bushy, and then when construction is being done there, you now see the outcome is beautiful. That place has been transformed. So I fell in love with construction. I went there with everything I had. I left aside any administrative work because when I was in school, I did my internship at the Kumbawan Council, and I was so enthusiastic that they wanted me to come and work. But when I entered into construction, I saw the transformation, I saw the beauty of construction work. I fell in love with construction work, so I refused working in an office because I realized that you working in an office, you do one thing over and over, it becomes monotonous. Your brain does not work, your brain does not create, there is no creativity. That limits you. Taking into consideration who I wanted to be, I realized that there was greatness in me. I saw greatness. And sometimes having a vision is one thing. Working it to bring it to reality is another thing. So I saw this greatness and I had to take this path, which was the second chance, or let me say plan B, because plan A failed. So I had to take this plan B, and today I am an engineer. I am so grateful and thanking God for giving me that grace to learn, to be enthusiastic, to be determined. Because I can tell you, some of my friends who were in the field with me when we started, they are not what I am today. And even those whom I learned work from them, I'm more than them. Because when I went into construction field, I saw some lapses. I had to go in and try to correct these errors, these lapses that I've been seeing. And during that process, I realized that I became perfect. And I could do it more than even the people who were teaching me, or my mentors, my boss at the chantier at that time. I could do more than them because I realized that most of the time we limit ourselves on a particular thing. The brain is like a memory card. It stores a lot. So when you base your mind on one thing, it's like the brain is too small for the brain. So I said, okay, let me try this. I had to go into other sectors in the civil engineering, which is the plumbing sector, the tiling sector, as I've just showed you here. It's just I don't want to go into details. There are plumbing works that I have done. So I realized that it is so benefitable, and it's also motivating, encouraging to learn something, to get a skills, to learn a skills, because I don't think if I go anywhere now, I'll have challenges. No, I will just go to a construction site and tell them, look, this is who I am, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. Okay, they'll give me a shot, give me a try, and I prove myself. And when you prove yourself like that, there is no way you can be down. So I am very grateful becoming what I am today. And very grateful sitting here today, honoring your invitation to dish out the little I have for my brothers and the world out there. Let them know that If they are sleeping, they are killing their knowledge, they are killing their brain, they are not helping the society. Thank you.
So, two things. First thing I would like to talk about is I would like to underline the word the grace of God, by the grace of God.
Amen. Yeah.
The grace of God does not, it doesn't apply to you sitting around. It does not apply to you just staying in your neighborhood, catching conversations, playing games the whole day, and you're waiting for the grace of God to supply.
That's it.
But also, I would like to emphasize the fact that I've known Mr. Alfred Ayuk for some years, as I earlier mentioned, and we've had to work together. He has done tiling, a small project of tiling for me, and I would say that I was very impressed at the outcome. He has done plastering work for me. Actually, there's a wall in a project we have ongoing that we had to break the wall down. He rebuilt the wall. He did the plastering of the entire house. He brought some people in, his own team of workers. They dug a septic tank and a sockaway tank, and he built it. And of these three things I've mentioned, I'm embarrassed to say it, but I think he has done it way better than the professionals in their field that I've used before, which is embarrassing to say because it's going to lead me to the next question. Before we even get to the next question, in my current abode, I had a problem of a plumbing problem that had been in existence for like maybe 5 years. And I had brought several plumbers and asked them, what can I do? I had there was like a scent coming out from, I thought it was coming out from the wash basin. So every 2-3 days, I would pour bleach into this wash basin, and I kept asking, bringing plumbers. I'm like, something smells in my bathroom that I don't like. And they kept telling me it's from the wash basin, the wash hand basin. And I was like, is there no trap to trap the air? What can I do? They said there was nothing to do about it. So I brought in Mr. Ayuk Alfred for another work. The day he got into my bathroom, he's like, I'm getting a scent in this bathroom. I said, yes, it's been going on for years. I've brought several plumbers, and they've looked at this problem, and they all say there's nothing to do about it. So I just pour bleach into my wash hand basin every 2 days to help with the scent coming up. And he told me it was not coming from the wash hand basin. He looked around and he's like, your pot is not sitting well. And he struggled behind this pot and struggled and took a picture, and we finally saw that the original person that had placed this pot did not place it well. And then after that encounter, to cut it short, I brought a plumber and I said, please, I need you to replace my pot. It's not sitting well. And this plumber argued me for like 30 minutes. He's like, there's no problem with this pot. It is sitting well. I've looked behind. It is sitting rightly. I said, no, it's not. So finally, I got to show him the pictures that Mr. Alfred had forwarded to my phone. He looked at the pictures and then he believed me. He went behind the pot and he used his phone, the touch from his phone, and he's like, oh, you are right. And the problem was fixed. And I found that was the most ridiculous thing. I'm like, Mr. Alfred, if we are talking plumbers, I will not call him. But to have him come after so many years and within a day identify what the issue was, that was ridiculous. And the problem was resolved. So Apart from you learning from building sites and asking questions, have you had any formal technical training with, like in school, with a certificate or anything
I
like
did
that?
not go to school, any
For
technical school.
building.
Yes, I did not go to technical school. You know, when I was doing going to the site, construction site as a laborer, I didn't have it in mind that I'll become an engineer one day. I said to myself, it's not my field, so I should not put my mind, put my focus there. But when I said I wanted to have it as a handwork, since I already know small things that are there, when I came, I saw a lot of lapses. Like, for instance, if a builder comes here, he will just raise this wall, and the way he raise it, he does not care if the walls are really vertically straight or not, because he knows he's not the one doing the plastering. So he will just raise the wall, and at time when you come to do the plastering, you will encounter a lot of challenges. Sometimes the wall is bent, and you will need to fill to
With
take
plaster.
with
And you're
water.
and in doing that, you're wasting materials.
Of course, you are wasting
and
materials.
time.
You're wasting materials, you're wasting time, and then some of the walls even collapse, because I have gone to so many places to do plastering, and I realized that there is a problem with that wall, and I tell the owner, look, this wall will not take up to 5 years. You will have a problem, because the way this block is bent, it cannot withstand the weight that is on top of it.
Oh my God.
You know, the way you put a block, the block it should be vertically straight so that it can withstand the weight of the others.
Yes.
If the block is not vertically straight enough, it cannot hold the weight, because it's like you carrying something and bending one side like this. You know that your waist here, your leg here cannot withstand that load. But if you stand vertically straight like this, you will not feel the impact, the weight of this load. So when I come, I realize most of these things. And then you will be in the site, and you will see a plumber will come to run his plumbing pipes. He will go there and be chiseling the foundation. Chiseling the foundation, it's a hard work. So I look into it. I said, these are some lapses. And then when you go to tiling, you will see in a room, you see a half tile here, a half tile here, a half tile here, which is not proper. So I took note of those things. I said, okay, how am I going to do? I'm in the field. I need to do better. I've seen some errors, which people might not know that it is an error.
Or they just don't care.
What do you expect? The person who is building does not care. He builds, gets his money, and walks away. You have the house, you don't know what is there, and the risk that wall can bring. We are seeing situations where buildings are collapsing, structures are collapsing, like what happened sometime in Beatty South, there in Boya, down there. An entire structure collapsed. And I began to look at these things. What could be the cause of these things? Then I realized a lot of things. One, the soil texture is not taken into consideration. Because the category of soil, the soil texture plays a very important role in construction.
Really?
You have to know the ground texture and know how to go about with your construction work.
Okay.
If you fail to know the ground texture, you will not do a good work. You need to know the ground texture, and then you need to know the kind of structure you want to put. because the kind of structure you want to put will also determine the pillar holes, the depth of the pillar holes that you will dig. So I realized a lot of lapses. So I begin to concentrate now more on those lapses, those limitations, those errors which people are not seeing. That is how I managed to become what I am today and to do things perfect that you see me doing today, because I know if you don't do something right, you don't only risk that present structure, you also destroy your career as an engineer, as a technician, because people will always point finger at you that you are the one who did that work, and that it is a negative sign to you. It reduces your chances of getting
recommendations
and more contracts, of winning contracts out there, because somebody will take you to come and work, and you might meet somebody there who know you and say, this person, no, he's the one who built that structure down somewhere that collapsed, and it's a bad remark. It's a bad remark. So I have to see all of these things. I went to it and I tried to correct them. Now, if I want to put up a structure like the one I'm going to put on somewhere at the checkpoint there, I take into consideration the tile work. I take into consideration the plastering. I take into consideration the plumbing before I lay down that foundation. If the dimension of the room shows that you will need to have a half tile here, in case of tiling, a half tile here, I adjust the foundation, the dimension, so that at the end I can have a full tile, and maybe if there is a possibility of having a half tile, I know that that half tile will start this way where it will not be showing. Now, right from the foundation, I start initiating my plumbing work, running my plumbing pipes, putting them into position, checking where the septic tank will be, so that you can have a pressure of drainage, because it needs pressure.
Right.
When you flush, the water needs pressure to go to the septic tank. So I take into consideration all these things. That is why you see I can tell you that I worked from mistakes. I learned from mistakes. That is why you see me, I am what people.
So when you see these mistakes, how do you learn to improve them? Do you go online, maybe to YouTube, watch videos of people doing it better? Do you have books that you read?
I went online and I downloaded a book, Civil Engineering.
Okay.
Yes, I downloaded a book, Civil Engineering. So this is it. Civil Engineering. So helps me a lot. I'm there in
What's
the
the
field.
author's name? Let's give the author credit.
Yeah, I did not see the author. I just see Civil Engineering Basics.
Basics.
Yes, Civil Engineering Basics.
So,
and here you have different.
Okay.
Yes.
We don't know the author's name, but I'm sure if you check on Google.
Yes, Civil Engineering.
Okay. But also I was going to say, generally your work takes more time.
Yes, it does.
So that's an issue. Maybe that's also part issue why other builders, other engineers they are not meticulous. Or you've built a bathtub for me.
Yes.
And the time to do your calculations, how to bend what wire, the measurements, you have to measure and measure again. It takes a lot of time. You could use that time to finish this project quickly and anyhow and do another project.
You know, it is better to take your time and do a proper something. One of my problem was I hate doing one thing twice. That means you do something, you come back there again, you realize that you are still wasting even more time to come back again to do something. So I take my time to do something so much so that if I'm leaving that place, I'm leaving there for good and I have guarantee that that thing will not be bad. Yes. So that's why I take my time to do things so that to overcome those errors, those lapses. For instance, if I want to put a wall here, I make sure that this wall will be here. This is the exact place position that this wall will be. Because I've seen where I've gone to sites, construction sites, where they raised wall and they came and demolished everything.
You demolish a wall for me. I just said it.
You know
demolish a wall for me.
Good. That's
And we had to rebuild. Okay,
good.
now think of the expenses. Because the wall that was broken down, we couldn't use the blocks. We had to remove.
Yes.
And
that is the reason why I take my time doing things. Coming to that wall that I break, I didn't have time, but I had to sacrifice that time because I could not allow that work like that.
let me tell you the issue. When that particular room was made, I saw it like the wall was built. I saw it in about 3 hours after it was built. It was still fresh. I told them, I said, this wall needs to move. I said, this wall needs to move. The person I was with and the workers, they argued, no, it's a rental property, it's okay. I said, no, even if it's a rental property, there is no way this size of this room would work with everything we have to put in it. I said, we will need to move this wall. They argued, but because my time here is short, I had like 5 people telling me, it's okay, don't bring your views from outside, from the west, that my expectations are too high. The room is okay by Cameroon standards, by Boya standards, this room is okay, we don't need to move the wall. If they had listened to me, it was still fresh, they could just have done this, taking those blocks down, move the wall and put a new mortar and build it. Now, years later, you have to go down, demolish it and rebuild it. We spent time, we spent double the money.
Yes.
For just because they wouldn't listen to what I was saying at that time.
And that's why you see me, I take my time to do the right thing. I had to demolish it.
So I was going to ask you, I checked here, I was checking online to see if I could see the name of the author, but I saw the title of a book that says Basic Civil Engineering. I'm not sure. It says the author is S.S. Bhavikati and C. Rajashek Karapa. I think these are Indian names. I know I'm murdering it, but I want to give them credit for their book. So if he's using it, and there are other, maybe there are other titles like that, but this is what I saw on Google. So let's give the authors their credit. Okay, let's go ahead then. We are grateful for the book. At least it's helping somebody perfect his art. My next question is, do you plan to go further, maybe to an engineering school? Because now you don't have a certificate at hand. If somebody sees your work, the only reason you are sitting here is because I've seen your work.
Yes.
If I had not seen your work, I don't care what you tell me.
It's true.
It will not serve me anything.
Yes,
I cannot see that you studied computer engineering
and
I say I need somebody to tile my house and you come and present yourself, and you came here by recommendation for another person.
Yes.
In whose house you
Yes,
worked.
I can remember that.
So the question I ask you, do you plan to go to school, obtain a certificate?
Yes, yes, I plan to go to school and obtain a certificate, and even to get an online courses, because you see, I am here because of this interview. I would have been in a site doing work. I have like 3 works I'm doing in a week. Because of my handwork, everybody wants me to do their work. I can tell you within a week, I'm executing 3 different contracts. I am doing building this way, I am doing plumbing this way, I am doing tiling this way. Every day, you see me carry different tools to work. So that time is not there. That time is not there. There are so many things I wish to learn. Even stuff. I'm thinking of going to learn stuff. This silly stuff that I'm looking at, the time is not there. I want to fill the brain with as much knowledge as I can, because I teach others, I teach the workers. So I'm aspired to go to school to even grab that certificate. It will be a genuine pleasure for me to go back to school and study it proper.
So you are a youth of Africa and a youth of Cameroon, and the unemployment in Cameroon is so high. Unemployment levels. Do you think you are employed or you are unemployed?
I can say I am self-employed. I am self-employed.
Why didn't you wait for the government to give you a job?
You know that when I graduated from school, I took my certificate, I went right up to Douala and I tendered my
Applications.
to companies, about 4. I came here to Boya, I dropped, and behold, I went to one hotel, a renowned hotel. Behold, I went and tendered my application with advanced level.
Okay.
And as a cleaner,
you want to work as a cleaner?
I'm telling you, it's not easy. The rate of unemployment is so high. As a cleaner, behold, they called me after 3 years. Can you imagine?
Even as a cleaner. Even you applying as a
cleaner. They called me after 3 years. On that day, I was just walking in my phone rang, and is this Mr. Alfred? I say, yes, sir. Say, you drop an application in this so-and-so hotel. I say, yes. Say, can we see you? We would like to see you for an interview. I said, no, sir. I'm engaged somewhere. I'm okay. I'm no longer interested. At that time, 3 years is enough. I've been in the construction field. I've learned. I'm now a technician. And you're calling me to go and do, what can I go and do there for?
So you don't regret?
No, I don't regret.
So you are a youth of Africa. Let's close on this. I would like you to give advice. Even when I say youth, I'm thinking 30, 35. We have some 30-year-olds who don't work. They just sit around.
There are so many.
So give counsel, give advice how we are not relying on the government. It's not coming through anytime now.
Yeah.
Okay, that is clear. And I can say it from the bottom of my heart. And from traveling, I've been to North America, let me put it that way. I've been to Europe. And I see that there's a lot of things that even happens there that happens by the people. Okay? By the people, they have systems. Like I'm in Germany now, you cannot even cheat their public traffic system if a German knows it. They don't need the police to be there. A German will not allow you to cheat their system. That is how they come together. They put their
laws,
they put their minds to making sure that they develop.
yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So there is also a part that we have to do as citizens
Yes.
of Africa. There is a part we have to do. So, what advice are you going to give to the youth of Africa? Because the issues we face here are the same issues that are faced in West Africa. Central, we are in Central by politically. East Africa is the same issues. They might look a little different, but at the bottom of it is the same water that flows. So what council, because I'm sure what you're doing now, you don't depend on your parents for food, for housing, you live on your own,
yes,
and you have your money to roll.
yes.
You don't go begging for, give me a little handout, please, I needed to travel here, I need a little money to complete my transportation fare and stuff like that. So it is safe to say that you went to school, you are not working in the department of what you studied in school,
yes.
but you have skills that you have acquired from the field informally.
Yes.
But these skills is feeding you and taking care of you and your loved ones.
Everything. Yes.
So what counsel can you give to Africa's youth?
What I would like to say to the youths out there in Africa, be a visionary person. There are some things that limits you. If someone does not have a dream, when I talk of a visionary person, I also mean a dream. If someone does not have a dream of becoming something, that person will not have focus. Because if you don't have a dream, you don't have focus. Yeah. And if that person does not have focus, the person will not have determination, will not be determined to do anything. So most youths don't have dreams. Most youths don't have dreams. Like, if you look at my case now, actually I did not do construction in school, but I had a dream of becoming something. So I realized that this road I wanted to take cannot lead me there. I had to get a plan B.
Pivot.
I got a plan B. I can't stay like that. Sometimes when you look behind, you see how far you've come. It's just too late for you to turn back. I had to get a plan B because I had a dream, I had a focus, I was determined. So if you look, there is no relationship between accounting and construction. But what I figured out is knowledge is applicable.
Yes.
Knowledge is applicable. I had to apply the knowledge of accounting into construction.
Yes.
And with accounting, it has a lot of figures. You deal with figures. I took the 8th position out of 80 something in my department as accounting clerk. So you can realize that I was among the first 10. And accounting is not an easy thing. Take into consideration that you have a lot to think, to calculate. That broaden my understanding. That is why I am not having challenges in this field. Because the understanding is there, I just need to apply the knowledge into construction.
So your school was not useless.
Schooling was not useless. Let's say knowledge is not useless because it is the knowledge. I can tell you, I've seen some of my friends who do phone booth. They are beside the road doing phone booth. Some are selling banana. And it's not a bad thing. But you studied, you went to school and studied accounting and you obtained a diploma. Some even for that. You cannot come and do those things. So I can tell you, because I figured out that knowledge is applicable. I have to apply the knowledge into construction, and behold, I am doing better. So this, our young people, please get a dream. You're wasting your knowledge, you're wasting yourself. As days goes by, you become old. Sometimes I happen to see somebody picking iron. I was at the side and he was picking iron. A youth. I stopped walking. I climbed down the scaffold and I called him. I said, "Come, how are you?" He said, "I'm fine." I said, "One question. You are picking this iron now that you are a youth. Will you continue to pick this iron when you are at the age of 45, 40, 45?" He looked at me. And I said to him, I said, "Don't you think learning a trade will help you? Because you take about maximum 2, 3 years to learn a trade, and you start doing something for your future. You will not pick iron from now till when you get to 40 years of age and you are a man. How do you want to keep a family? How will you feed your family? How will you take care of your basic needs with this iron?" Then I asked him, I said, "How many irons do you pick a day and how much do you make a day?" Behold, you'll be shocked to hear him saying 2,000. You walk from a dustbin to dustbin, bushes to pick particles of irons like this pen, rod 6, half rod 6, to go and sell and have 1,500 a day, and you just eat. That's not life. That's not life. Learn something. Learn something. And he looked at me. He said, "Sir, I've heard you. I'll think about it." Behold, every time he sees me, he said, "Sir, I've not forgotten what you told me." Oh. Sometimes I see him, I don't even recognize him, but he recognized me because of the advice I gave to him. He said, "I'm still thinking about it. Oh. I know I will do something." So you are wasting your knowledge. You're wasting time. You have a great future. I'm talking to the youth. I'm talking to my African brothers, talking to my African sisters. We are not limited only to men here. We are also talking of women too.
Yes.
Women are not excluded.
Yes.
Get something doing. Have a dream. Have a focus. Or be aspired to become something. Be aspired to become something. Sometimes when I watch TVs and I see people like in the Western world, somebody invents something. I say, wow, if this person can invent this thing, it means I can do something. Let me come back. I preach the gospel. I have a message identifying your weaknesses. That message has helped me a lot. I have not preached that message, but within myself, I used to preach it. What are weaknesses? Weaknesses are limitations. Weaknesses are challenges. And you cannot excel if you cannot identify those challenges, those limitations, and you overcome them. So sometimes people marvel how they see me doing. Behold, I've been working for 10 months now, continuously. Every day I go to work, and people are like, "Who is this guy?" We are in the same construction field, but sometimes 2 weeks, 1 month, we're in the house, we don't have work.
Yeah.
Even periods where there are no work, he's still going to work.
Yes.
What is happening? And they don't understand. Diversity of work. If I'm not doing construction today, I'm doing plumbing. If I'm not doing plumbing, I'm doing tiling. At some point, one time, I taught computer. I can teach Microsoft Word, Office, and PowerPoint. I mean, you just can't relent. You just can't sit back and doing nothing and expecting the government to call you for the application you dropped maybe 5 years ago.
Yes.
You can't just get over it.
Yes.
Get something doing. Get something doing. So our job applications, they were not coming. So I had to do some things, get myself busy before while waiting. And behold, till date, they have not come. Imagine if I was waiting to be called by one company, then voila, I would not have been what I am today. So I'm just telling my youth, fellow brothers out there, you can't stay like that forever. You cannot stay like that forever. You have to do something. You have to go out there, pick up something. Nothing is small. Nothing is small. Like Madame Maya said here, you start from the little you have and you get there. Because I came, I saw one camera, I said we needed 3 cameras. I say you have to use what you have at hand first before you know it grows. This is who I am today. I was not what I am today before. That was not even my dream. I had to go in for plan B since plan A failed, becoming an accountant or becoming a footballer, becoming a general, a military, becoming a president. Those plans failed. I had to switch to plan B. Why not plan C? You can get as many plans as you wish. Look at you. I want you to know the society is looking up to you. You can't be a nuisance to your society. The younger generations are looking up to you. And remember that at some point, you will always be a leader. So take up that responsibility as a leader. Know that someone is looking up to you. And if you fail, you will not believe me, an entire generation will definitely fail. Because as we are like this, there are people whose destinies are in our hands.
Yes.
Us failing is not just us, an entire generation will fail, including your own personal generation, your family. So you need to go out there and pick up something doing. You can't stay at home forever. Even if you have a doctorate degree, a PhD, a master's degree, pick up something doing.
Yeah.
From there, you can get somewhere. Like Joseph in the Bible, he was just a shepherd. Though he had a dream of becoming something great, but he didn't know the future, he didn't know what he would become, so he was a shepherd. And through that shepherding, leaded him to his destiny. You can't stay at home forever doing nothing. You know, I remember one time my father told me, as you have graduated, take that certificate and come back home. Then I asked my father, I said, I should take this certificate and come back home. To come and do what? To come and sit back at home and be eating mom's food again? Don't I see how people are hustling out there in Boya? I am not coming. And he was angry. My father was angry. Behold, things change.
Sad to say, a lot of people find that
Yes.
it's okay to many people.
Things change. Let me bring some instances. You know, at some point, my father is of blessed memory. Before my father passed on, there was a day he asked me to say, my son, do you mean to say all the money that we spent sending you to school has gone just like that? I said to him, I said, Daddy, what do you want me to say? You see me now, I'm struggling in the chantier. He's showing that there is no hope. I have dropped application to no avail. I was smart enough to divert into something else, and I know God will bless me. Behold, I built our house. And the good thing is, it was I and my father that was building. that house. He will help me to mix and I'll be laying the blocks. He's looking at the work, he's looking at me. He's looking at the work, he's looking at me. My mother came, my mother looked at the work, she looked at me. At some point, my mother made a statement and said, my money was saying for school no loss. You know what that means? So the money I sent you to school, I did not waste that money. I mean, you can't stay like that. I have to divert. My father could not believe that someone who did general education is doing the work of a technical expert.
Yeah.
And they were marveled. I built a wall, they looked at that wall. Behold, during my 2 weeks, 3 weeks of being in a condo city there building that wall, many people passed and saw it and came and said, please, come and sketch a plan for me. I have a structure I want to put. Come and put it for me.
Yes,
just seeing that work. And my parents could not believe I did because I have a brother who went to technical school. You know, their belief is anyone who will do these works must get there to technical institution. So they were marveled seeing me who went to GBHS Ekondo Titi High School doing general education is doing technical works, and they really see how perfect the work is. I can tell you, work that was to be done for 200,000, I did it in our house. Behold, my mother gave me 10,000. And said, take this one for your transport. I don't have money. Then I looked at her and said, Mom, do you know how much you got? I dug the same septic tank. At that time, I was digging. I and my brother, we dug a septic tank. People passed and looked at it and shook their head. Perimeter something and deep. Since 2020 or 20, no, it's 2019 or 18 that I built that septic tank. It's still there. I dug it because we don't have vehicles there in Ekolo that drains waste. So I dug the thing and built the thing as I built your own like that. She could not believe. She could not believe. And I'm planning to go to the village to build my mother's house. I was talking with my younger brother. I said, you see, we need to use advantage of our professions. You will never see where a tailor goes to a market to buy dress. He or she will sew his dress, get the material, sew his dress. So it's our advantage. We are the ones building. I said, I'm going to buy mold. I never wanted to mold blocks, but I'm going to mold blocks. I just mold a bag of cement there and I saw how wonderful the blocks were. I am going to buy blocks. Those money which we will spend for labor, that expenses will cut it because we are the ones doing the work. So, just to say a few, you can't remain like that. My brothers, my sisters, those who are watching me now, you've heard my stories, just a few. I've not even talked on the area of being a servant of God. You know, we might not close here today. So you have to go out there and live in your dreams. You have to go out there and pick up something doing. You have to get out there and do something. Get something. Start from anywhere. You know, in business, you must not have millions as capitals. 10,000 can do something. Behold, let me share with you a testimony. I was in a condo TT. At that time, I wrote my ordinary level. I was waiting for the results. And a friend came and called me that they are looking for somebody to manage an off license. I left, went there. Excuse me. Behold, that same day that I went, I should go and see the person. Let's talk. I started working. I worked until I closed around 2 o'clock in the night. And The person could not believe how I manage his off license. And then I remember there was a young man who comes to beg money. It was small. He will come and beg money he wants to eat. I'll give him 500. I didn't care of the shortage I was incurring. I'll give him 500. He will come the next day. Yeah, the next day. There was a time he came as a young man. How long will you continue to be begging money for food? Can't you do something? Can't you can you sell boiled egg? He said yes. I said, okay, come tomorrow. I'll find something. When he came, behold, I gave him 2,000 francs. I said, take, go and buy egg, boil, put in a bucket and sell. That was what he did. And he was not coming to beg money anymore. He will sell and get something for himself, the profits. And I can tell you, he's been okay. He's selling shoes down there at Sampi. I saw him down there at Sampi. I've helped a lot of people. I've struggled for them to realize who they are, because if you don't discover who you are in your family, in your society, you will not know that the world is looking up to you. The next generation is looking up to you. I can tell you, every time my father, before he passed on to blessed memory, he would call me, he said, Grand, he used to call me Grand. Say, if they so I need 20,000 or do something. I'll say, okay, Dad, I'll send it. And I'll send him 20,000. And he'll think he'll be happy. My mom will call. It's like that. We don't have to, we don't have, the gas is finished. I said, Mom, how much? I mean, if I was not doing anything, how will I carry out this my responsibility, both in my family, in the community, and in the society? I remember one time a young man came and saw me and said, good evening. I've been seeing you with Chantier cap. You're going to work every day, every day. I want you to teach me work. I said, okay. When he came, I took him, taught him work. Fortunately, he's going to OIC. Taught him, and I paid him. You see, I impacted his life for that few days or hours that we spend together. So know that someone out there is looking up to you, and you can't let them down, because you should know that letting yourself down is letting your generation down. And at the end of the day, there will be no story to tell. You know, we all have a story to tell. We definitely have a story to tell. Yeah. All this I am saying is my story. I know many people will be inspired with my story. Remember, you too have a story to tell, and many people would like to know your story, because your story will help them, will be as a stepping stone to their destiny. So you can't sit out there doing nothing. Yeah. You have to do something. You have to have a focus. You need to be determined. You look at your background, look at your position in the family. It warrants you. There are younger ones behind. It is your responsibility to take care of them. So you can't sit folding your arms. Even the Bible says, folding of the arms brings poverty. A lazy hand brings poverty. Except you want to be poor. So go out there, get something doing, no matter how small it is, you will one day make it. Yes. You need to be aspiring, you need to be passionate for something. Yes. Be passionate for something. I mean, we have a lot of role models out there. Like I'm looking at Mentor Maya, Madame Maya, and I'm inspired to be like her one day. She's an inspiration to me. And I wish one day I'll be interviewing people just like how she's interviewing me now. I can see some books here written by her. Look at this book, The Girl from the Chicago. Though I've not read the book, but I really want to know what this book is saying, because if you look at the picture, I am seeing a chair, I'm seeing money. I know money. Money is there. This book can give me knowledge to make money. I mean, you cannot just give up. You cannot just give up. You can. And I can see how the author, wow, as beautiful as she looks, you can't just stay there. Get something to do. You can see money. We will not like money. We will not like fighting. Go out there, pick up something to do. Pick up something to do. If others are giving up on you, don't give up on yourself.
Yes.
You are the last person to give up on yourself. Let the world give up on you, but don't give up on yourself. Be self-encouraged. Be self-motivated. You will get there. You've heard my story. This is me. 10 years ago, I was nothing. Poverty wanted to kill me. Honestly speaking, I was just doing one thing. Sometimes you go to a construction site and they will tell you there's no work. You are seeing people working, they say there is no work. What do they mean? Only for me to come and sit and realize that construction has three sectors: the building sector, the formwork sector, the iron sectors. Before I'm dying for hunger here. When I realized that, I went to a place one day, they were working, and I asked of the patron. They said the patron is not. I asked for the number. They gave me the number. So I called the patron and said, I was at your construction site. You are not there. I didn't see you. I'm a technician. I want to work. He said, okay, meet me the following day. So when I came, he asked me, so what are you? I said, I'm a technician. He said, okay. What do you do? Behold, I told him, I said, I do everything. He said, what do you mean by everything? I said, everything. I said, I do building, I do farm work, I do iron bending. He said, okay, how much am I going to pay you? I said, 8,000. I was so bold enough.
8,000
for the day. Yes. You know, they were paying 5,000, 6,000. So because I realized I could do all these things, and I was so happy because I could do it. I never knew. You know, they used to say, even the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. When I realized that I knew these things, I was bold. And behold, that was how the standard of my life escalated to another level. I was taking 30,000 francs a week. Behold, after that day, I was taking 52,000 a week. You can see the difference. And when he came the first day and saw what I have done, came the second day, came the third day, he left the site for me. He will come after 1 week. I will call him, boss, where are you? He said, I'm in Limbe, I'm in Douala. He's no longer coming to the site. When he comes, I'll explain, you see, this is how I've worked, this is how things are, this is the material, this is what I got. And it got to a point where I am the one buying the material. Like, seriously, it is difficult for someone to trust you now buying materials.
Yes.
I go and buy the materials and put up your work, and people are marveled. Most of my patrons don't even come to work. They don't come, they only come and see the updates of the work. Sometimes I snap and send to them, so okay, the work is going. So you can't sit there doing nothing. You just have to go out there and do something. Remember, you're a leader, you have to lead by example. To lead by example. The younger generations are looking up to you. The older ones too. You know, we are in Africa. If you succeed and the younger ones have not succeeded, you have not succeeded.
Yes.
It's your responsibility. It is your responsibility.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, if the younger ones behind you immediately, your siblings, if they have not succeeded, you have not succeeded.
Yes.
And you will not continue to be giving them all the time.
Yes.
You know, I had a tile contract and I had to call my immediate follower. I said, what are you doing there in the community? Come, let's do this tile work. Behold, within 2 weeks, he knows how. I taught him how to do sketching. I taught him. I can tell you, he learned something. There was a day before I came to Shanti, after I was following materials, I saw a line of ties that he has put. I looked, I shook my head. I said, that means he's getting me. You can't feed them forever.
Right.
You can't provide to them forever.
Yes.
Knowing that they will be inspired by what you do and will want to learn from you. So you too have to learn something. You have to learn something. You can't give what you don't have. You can't teach what you don't know.
Right.
You are a teacher. You have to lead by example. The community is looking up to you. The society is looking up to you. Why not the world? Today we watch football, we see legend stars like Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe. They were once like you. Look at our Eto'os here and all the rest. They were once like you. But today the world know them. Are you going to stay back at home and do nothing? You have to do something so that the world should know you too. The world should know you. You should be a legend. You should be something, an example the world looks up to, the future generation looks up to. Ramena, thank you very much. I am so happy. I'm going to go through this book. I am going to go through this book. Just the fact that I've seen money there, I saw, is that dollars? It's dollars.
Well,
I have to go.
it's a romantic story.
Really?
It has nothing to do with money.
You know that knowledge is applicable. Like I said, knowledge is applicable. So one thing,
I'm selling them. There are copies for sale.
okay,
I have many copies.
you can hear from her. There are many copies to sell. So
Yeah.
you can come for your own.
Yes.
You can come for your own. It can be a novel of love stories, babe. It can inspire you.
Yeah, most definitely.
To become some. Today we have a lot of challenges in marriage. This book can help you. Madam Maya, we can learn something, even if money is not concerned, at least building our relationships back at home. This book it can help us. It can help
I
us.
wrote it.
Yes. So you can get your copy. You can get your copy. You can see the volume. The volume tells you the knowledge which is inside the book. It's a love story, as she said. So it will help us, it will help you one way or the other. It will inspire you. So you can come for the copy.
So to conclude, I'll just have a word with you and then I'll conclude with the audience. My wish for you is that from this point you will work with the objective and the thinking of going to school specifically for engineering. You go there, you get a backup degree. We need that.
Yes.
It is a system that has been put in place for a very long time and it will stay in place.
Yeah. Yes.
So degrees are still going to be valuable, certificates are still going to be valuable. It's a backing to what you can actually do.
Yes.
On the flip side, sometimes it's a backing where there is no skill. And in those cases, it doesn't help.
Yes, it doesn't help.
But when there is a skill, now we need that backing.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that you'll be able to go to school, get the backing of a certificate, and then from there, my dream is to see you create your own company.
Thank you very much.
Africa has not even scratched the surface.
Yes.
I have invested here in real estate. It's been more than 10 years when I started. And the work is bad. Let me put it like that. The work is bad. The work is disappointing. Because for some reason, we have not found satisfaction in perfection.
Yes.
We have not found we have found satisfaction in mediocre work. Mediocre, which is French word. We have found satisfaction there, like as long as it's standing, even if it's standing one-sided, even if at this end is tiny, at the other end is huge, it doesn't matter, it's still standing. No, it does matter. Unfortunately for us who have traveled, we have seen good stuff, and the work here is lacking. Every part of it, from the roofing to the ceiling, to the window placements, to the iron doors, to the tiling, to the stairway, we are lacking a lot. The work is bad. So when I see somebody like you, whose work, you put in your thought, you put in your heart for the work before the money.
Yes.
So we need to, when I say you should create a company, it's first of all at the beginning, because I'm hoping that you have a company, and when you supervise it,
yes,
if it's not up to standard, you will scratch it
yes,
out and they will redo it.
Yes. Yes.
But secondly, it is for you to duplicate, to replicate you, to have other people who think and do things the way you do it.
Yes, yes.
Because you alone, you cannot correct
yes,
it.
Yes.
So when you train other people and they leave you, then they will train other people,
yes,
and then Africa will develop in a more beautiful way.
Yes.
So we have come to the end of our conversation, and I am truly happy. I think this session, many, I'm hoping, would find valuable, and it's going to inspire many to think beyond the limits, beyond the basics. Things that came up, skills acquisition. The acquisition of skills is very important. After years of thinking and watching, observing how other societies operate, I came to the conclusion that Africa had been lied to. Obtaining a degree, it could be a bachelor's, it could be a master's degree, it could even be a PhD degree. Many PhD holders barely provide for their families. Why? Because we have been lied to, and the sector or the section of obtaining skills have been minimized here in Africa. But again, after so much thought, I have discovered, and I have come back to that conclusion, that for Africa to emerge, for the youths of Africa to take themselves from the unemployment list to the list of employment, would be through skills acquisition. Africa has not developed at all. There are so many possibilities still. If you look to the side of electricity and lighting, if you look to the side of construction, if you look to the side of developing parks and any way you look at it, the medical sector, Africa has not even gone halfway. So for us Africans, for our African youths, for the children coming up, the focus should be skills acquisition. Nobody is going to come and do it for us. We have to do it for us. We're not going to pay no big money for others to come with. In the first place, we don't even have that money. In the second place, the unemployment is at unbelievable rates. So it is time for us to switch our thinking, switch our expectations, change where we have been sitting on for so long and get to acquiring skills. It's endless possibilities of skills acquisition. We should get to acquiring skills and not depend on degrees to get employment and be paid the bare minimum, but acquire your skills, employ yourself, go out there. There are a lot of people looking for skillful workers. And if you add a little bit of diligence to it, you would get all the first place and the first request of that field. So that is how we do it. That is how Africa is going to rise. So thank you for watching this episode. Learn what you have to learn from it. Learning is one thing. Getting up to do it is another. Take the first step. Take the first step. Sit down with a pen and paper. Ask yourself, as of today, what can I do today